Hello from Plymouth for the second weekend of racing in this year's Honda Formula 4-stroke powerboat series. Now, it was over 400 years ago that Sir Francis Drake first stood on this spot and saw the Spanish Armada in sight, which led him into battle to become Devon's most famous seafarer. Well, that's not about to change, but we do have Jack Cockman standing proud at the top of the 150 leadership board and a pack of invaders with hostile intentions. Last time in Torquay, and with 17 boats racing here in Plymouth, we're guaranteed another weekend of non-stop drama and a tough battle for those drain store boys if they don't want to let that championship lead drain away. Let's join your commentator Ben Edwards for a little bit more.
Spirit of Octane had a good run in Torquay with a couple of third-place finishes for the Uxbridge-based husband and wife team. They're now into their third season of Formula 4-stroke.
No pressure, no stress. We just do the best we can. So no pressure yet. Perhaps later in the season if we're running for championship, perhaps. But now I'm going to race Jack and Andy.
Jack and Andy of Drain Store certainly demonstrated tremendous pace in Torquay, but it's always one thing being a challenger and another being the target.
You must be quite confident with quite a fast boat.
That's hopefully going to be our advantage today, just to get out front and have the clean water and stay out front.
And that's the main tactic you're going to use?
Yeah, I guess so.
Salcombe Racing suffered contrasting fortunes at the first event. Winners on the water, they were then disqualified for refettling the boats between races, crucially by taking it out of the water.
Torquay was very disappointing for us. We'd put a bit of work on the boat and we were DQ'd on the Saturdays, you know. So coming here, it's good to be back.
So we've travelled slightly further west along the English south coast to Plymouth for this second weekend of racing. The course is set out in the harbour, and although it's straightforward, there can be lots of distractions in this water, which makes spotting the correct buoy just a little bit tricky.
A busy weekend of racing for the 150s, and we'll be bringing you the very best of it. Let's get straight to the action with Ben Edwards.
Let's take a look at what happened in race one. Conditions were pretty good as the boats set off, and as ever it was close up front, but Drain Store took the advantage. Poor Susie Smith almost ended up in her husband's lap. And for a while it looked as though Team Earl's Court was going pretty well, but then a mistake on navigation, passing a buoy on the wrong side, would cost them dear later on. Delmar was looking good for a podium, while Team Williams and Alien were close, and those corners were taxing.
Hold on.
Untroubled up front, it was victory again for Drain Store.
Where it's so flat, everyone's pegging it for it, and it was quite close with Earl's Court and a few other boats. So yeah, it was good.
That mistake by Team Earl's Court saw them lose second place.
Having potentially achieved the best result we have ever achieved, with all the hard work and time and effort that goes into it, it's really, really annoying.
So Drain Store, the winners, ahead of Construction Racing and Delmar, with Alien in fourth place ahead of Team Williams and Spirit of Octane.
Right, go. Trim up.
Race 2 saw more close battles, and Salcombe Racing in particular was in good form, pulling out an early lead with Jerry MacArthur at the wheel. Claygate stayed ahead of Ebel,
Keep it coming round, now go!
who almost rolled over in the melee. And Claygate also had the close attentions of Premier Crew at another turn marker. The lads of Quality Racing were up there in the mix, and Graham Foster-Viggers wasn't going to let that earlier scare slow him down. But no one had an answer for Salcombe Racing, and Jerry overcame the sometimes rough ride to take an all-important win.
A couple of sharp corners. I did my back in as well in Torquay, so I was worried about that. So Colin was looking after me on the trim. No, it was good. Yeah, sharp corners, but it was flat and not too much weight.
And talking of taking corners, Team Purple's Stuart Cureton did an excellent job to keep the boat stable and earn a well-deserved second position, much to the delight of stand-in navigator Mandy Cowley.
My driver made them as smooth as possible and as fast as possible, so it's all down to him. They were quite tight down at this first corner, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah, we had a little wobble down at the laid mark down the corner. They're quite a sharp turn. Almost threw you out your seat, but you managed to stay in.
And even closer to a real dunking was Graham Foster-Viggers of Ebel when battling with Claygate. Tight on the inside, Claygate made a slight mistake and slowed up, forcing the hard-charging Graham to turn broadside.
Claygate stopped in front of us, so I literally had to grab a big handful of steering and stop our boat on its side. And I was actually in the water, and Harry said he looked down and I looked like I was in there. So I am fairly wet and everything, but I'm just cursing the bad luck, really. I'm really disappointed. But tomorrow's another day and we'll have another go.
So Salcombe Racing took the win ahead of Team Purple, Locomotion was third, Premier Crew fourth, ahead of Ebel and Quality Racing.
Well, wins for Salcombe Racing and Drainstore, but the outcome of this Grand Prix is yet to be decided. Join us after the break when all the boats line up together in the final race. Welcome back to the Honda Formula 4-Stroke Powerboat Series here in Plymouth. So far, we've had wins for Drainstore and Salcombe Racing, but now these two will go head-to-head with the whole fleet, all fighting for every inch of clear water. Let's go to Ben Edwards.
Thanks, Tori. Well, this should be quite a race with the slower half of the fleet starting 150 metres ahead of the faster boats, including Drainstore and Salcombe Racing. But notice Claygate and Ebel are both in that lead group.
It'll be interesting to see some boats catching up with slower boats and fleets mixing up, so it should be really good. Fingers crossed.
Nervous.
Is that because of a change of format, or are you always a bit nervous?
Always a little bit nervous before the race. Obviously with the change of format as well, it just put a little bit more on it.
Yeah, no, it's going to be different, that's for sure. I think no one really knows about the tactics, you know, we're just going to play it by ear, see what happens when we're out there, really.
My plan is to try and get away from them, get some clean water and sidle up to the front pool and then start mixing it with them guys.
So here we are, all ready for the big finale of the racing here in the 150 class at Plymouth. You've got the two fleets of boats, the faster boats behind the slower boats, and they are racing. So I wonder how quickly some of those faster boats can come through. We're on board with Spirit of Octane, Lee and Susie. Just getting up to speed and heading down towards the first mark. It's that first blast before they have to start dealing with the turns, and it's all looking pretty even at the moment. The second group of boats, Salcombe Racing in that second group, the chase group, and Johnny 12 Trees looking very, very determined as ever to see if he can't close up that gap and beat the people who are around him. So lots to think about here, and passing the other boats is going to be crucial. You've got to do it quickly, not get held up too much, otherwise one of your rivals will nip through.
About 11, 11, you've got a quality job right next to you.
On board Neptune. They're in the lead group at the moment. Quality Racing just to the side of them, but it's Team Earl's Court that's leading currently. The guys who made a little bit of a navigational error. Now somebody's going quite wide there. That looks like Claygate taking a very wide line through that first turn. Here comes the second group now. I wonder which boat's going to be heading them. Johnny 12 Trees in the mix, but I think Drainstore might be just fractionally ahead. They're pretty much side by side as they come through the first turn. He gets a real shower there. Delmar joining in the fun as well, right behind, as you can see. And that's Chase Group really working hard between themselves, as well as to catch up to the supposedly slower boats ahead of them.
Going straight when we hit this mark here, that way there, yeah? Yep.
Colin Watton just calling where they need to be next. Navigator, the man from Salcombe in Devon, so he's not too far from home here, and enjoying himself as they try and bear down on these lead group. Team Purple, Stuart Cureton and Mandy Cowley. Mandy's having a good look around, trying to see where the opposition is and what line they need to be on, but it's Team Earl's Court that are still leading the race at this point. Useful advantage for them at this stage, and I should think they're being very careful to pass the buoy on the correct side. Former champions Nick Clemson and Paul Trow-Smith.
It's all right, keep going, keep it going, keep it going. Okay, mate, trim it down a tiny bit, down a bit. Got quality job about 20 yards away on the left.
Tom and James Plant with Quality Racing. Tom, the 20-year-old, the two brothers, the youngsters, going well here and actually moving ahead, I would say, of Claygate. They're in the middle boat there, the white and yellow boat.
Right, definitely got the right boy.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Very important.
It's over there. It's over there. You got it.
Yeah, I got it.
Got to be in the right place.
John's coming a bit closer. Can you see him?
Yep.
Okay, this is our corner.
Well, that's what they think. I'm not sure if the Plant brothers might think that they've got the corner. There's not much to choose between them as they head up towards the mark. Absolutely side by side.
That's the one, mate. Right, so nice and sharp round this one. This is yours. He'll stay out there. He'll stay out. Go on, push it through. Push it through.
Claygate has the inside line for that one, but actually Quality Racing goes sweeping around the outside.
Okay, Octane's coming up on the left now. Go left. Oh no, he's got us. He got us.
And it looks like they've lost
Nice sweeper in behind Octane. Can you see
two
Octane?
places in one go.
Sweeper in behind him.
Okay,
Follow these guys.
Okay.
So, James Brook with Earls Court leading currently, with Team Ebel in second. Quality Racing now in third, ahead of Neptune. Spirit of Octane ahead of Claygate. So Claygate definitely losing out on that stretch. Meanwhile, the other boats trying to close up on them. They started a bit further back, but Johnny 12 Trees is absolutely on it, pushing to the limit here to close up that gap. But of course, he's also racing against Drainstore, who are very, very rapid. There's our race leader. It is Team Earls Court. Now, if we look at the top six and then look further down the order, and we'll get an idea of where those guys in the second group are. So Drainstore running in 9th place overall, and Salcombe Racing in 10th position. So catching up to that first group and now really getting into the mix, if you like. On board with Lee and Susie. Lots of encouragement from Susie. Want a bit more pace out of the boat. But they've been going well so far this weekend. Appgate Mermaid, X-Pole and Drainstore. Now here comes Drainstore then, the leader of the chase group. And right behind him is this boat, Salcombe Racing. So they're really getting in amongst them now.
Yeah.
Drainstore getting past Appgate Mermaid. And this is going to put them up inside the top six now. And they got every opportunity to go after the leaders. Great boat pace that Jack Cotman and Andy Phipps have had all weekend. Johnny 12 Trees and Colin Watton are not far behind them. So are they going to be able to continue this chase? There is Salcombe Racing then. It's their turn to get past Appgate Mermaid. Not quite as quickly perhaps moving up through the order. David Hobson and Kirsty Clark on Appgate Mermaid don't quite have an answer to these fastest boats. So let's have a look. Drainstore actually in 7th place now, with Salcombe Racing in 8th place. They've both got past Appgate Mermaid. Then it's Delmar, Team Purple and X-Pole. Not far behind either. So they are gradually moving their way up the order here. Team Purple on the inside. A few boats close to one another here. Got to try and keep it clean, keep it smooth, and get good pace onto the next section. Once again on board Team Purple. They're running in 11th place. Mandy Cowley there just trying to hold on. It's not quite as bumpy as some conditions we've seen. It's reasonably smooth out there, so they can just concentrate on good boat speed. They're not bouncing around as much as we sometimes see. Back on board with Lee and Susie Smith with Spirit of Octane. Lots of urging onwards there from Susie. And, well, they're doing okay. They're running in 6th place, but Drainstore now up into 5th position. So the fastest of the boats that started in that second group, now in 5th, these guys in 6th. And they're under attack now from Salcombe Racing. Johnny 12 Trees trying to make the move on them. Pretty close together. Susie taking a good look, but up front it's still Team Earls Court in control. And do they have enough of a gap to be able to stay there? There's a big gap between themselves and the next boat, so it's impressive stuff, this. Ebel are running in 2nd place. Quality Racing in 3rd, just past the mark. Then Neptune 4th, and taking a tighter line there, Drainstore.
Straight on that, 48, trim, tap down once. Right, come in the middle of these guys. Drainstore on your side, pushing level.
Battle for 4th here, between Neptune and Drainstore.
They're going to come close, nice and tight, come on. Really tight. That's it, keep coming around tight. Right, they're on your inside now. They're on your inside. Drawing level, they're going for the overtake. Straight on that, straight on that, straight on that. Right.
Graham Haggart and Lee Shepherd, they're trying to keep the guys behind them, but they can't. Drainstore just have a bit too much pace for them. But it's fun for the slow boats to get into this situation where they're actually getting to race the fast boats.
You're going to skim it. 51 miles an hour. Right. Keep out of their wash, whatever we do, okay?
And then, of course, they've got to watch out for Salcombe Racing coming up. Ooh, 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 bit of a mistake.
Keep coming round, keep coming round. Trim down, one tap.
Lots of great advice coming from Lee there, as Drainstore now closing up on Ebel and Quality Racing. So these boats are running 2nd, 3rd and 4th, and not far behind them as well, Johnny Twelvetrees with Salcombe Racing. He's just finding his way past the number 20 boat Neptune, as we saw Drainstore a moment ago, but obviously not quite on the same pace as Jack Cotman and Andy Phipps in Drainstore.
We're going to have to hassle with them with this corner.
And how they deal with these slower boats is absolutely crucial under this new format. Johnny's glancing across. That's why Ebel is being passed. So they've managed to gain another position. Ebel's dropped back a few places because Drainstore's now into 2nd, Quality Racing, the yellow boat, in 3rd. Salcombe now into 4th, ahead of Ebel in 5th place, and Neptune still running in 6th position. So Team Earl's Court leads the race, but with the faster boats. Here comes Salcombe Racing now moving past Quality Racing. So you've now got 2 boats from that 2nd group that got underway initially, and they've moved into 2nd and 3rd places. The question is, can they go after race leader Team Earl's Court? Salcombe only just edging ahead of Quality Racing, but I think they have done it. Yep, they have. Drainstore a little further up the course ahead of them. And then, of course, it's Team Earl's Court up front and in control. Well, are they? I wonder, because they're bouncing around a little bit. Nerve-wracking time for them. They've never taken a victory in the class, and they're being caught a little bit by both this boat, Salcombe Racing, but perhaps more importantly, Drainstore as well. Johnny working hard, keeping everything just about under control here. Meanwhile, further back, we've got Team Purple and Octane heading down towards the chicane. Looks as though they're also closing up on Ebel. Glancing over, Mandy Cowley seeing where they've got to, and easing ahead there. So that's another one to tick off. Ebel's just dropped back a little bit over the last couple of sections of the course. And Team Purple there, as you can see, in 7th place. Ebel under pressure from Spirit of Octane now for 8th place. Catching them both is Premier Crew. And just moving out, John Wilson trying to get out of the wake of Spirit of Octane. And he may well be able to slip past here on this next section into the left-hand turn. And Ebel just holding position at the moment. Spirit of Octane going well, and wrong side of the marker. Oh, Premier Crew has to do a complete turn because they got caught out, I think, in the wake of the other boats. It sort of knocked them offline slightly, and Premier Crew went the wrong side of the buoy, so they had to do a complete turn, and look how much time that's lost them. Another 2 places there, by the looks of things, before they're fully up to speed.
Right, they're both either side of our tail, 3 boat lengths. We're fine on that, your trim's all right.
Oh, we're on board Neptune.
Keep tight, now trim down, 1 tap.
Bit of pressure for them.
Straight on that. 1 more tap.
Both Team Purple and Delmar have caught up. Delmar on the far side, Team Purple nearest us. And both of them bearing some pressure down on Neptune here. So this could be fun and games. Neptune doing a pretty good job so far.
Tight on this, tight on this. No one's within 2 boat lengths of us, you're fine. Nice and tight, nice and tight.
Now they've got to try and hold a tight line.
Keep coming round, out of the wash, into the green, that's it. Straighten up, tap down 1. No, you're fine, you're fine, you're fine. 47.
The other boat's taking a slightly different line, but still pretty much side by side. Delmar and Team Purple. Both of them getting that little bit closer to the back of Neptune.
You've got Delmar group at 4:30. They're now within 2 lengths, so unless they're going to overtake, they will have right away. Team Purple within a boat length, they're drawing level with us and nearly... Back on, that's it, tail down.
Oh, whoa, 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 big trouble there for Neptune, and Team Purple goes through. And I think Martin Delbosque and Mark Glanville are going to slip through as well in Delmar. Yep, they get past.
Cross that wash, come on the inside. Cross it. That's fine, you've got the perfect tail. Right, now remember, keep tight to this.
Graham did well to get it back under control.
Nice and tight. It's going to be disturbed water, so let's be careful.
Great experience, of course, seeing some of these faster boats coming past. The less experienced racers can perhaps learn something from seeing what they're up to. Meanwhile, back on board Team Purple with Stuart and Mandy, as our race leader continues to control this from quite a distance. Team Earl's Court looking very, very strong at the moment, and actually with the checker flag almost within sight now, they haven't got far to go. It looks as though they are going to make up that navigational error they made earlier in the weekend. This is looking very, very good for James Brooke and Danny Wapples. They're coming through into the final section now, and there's no sign of them being caught by any of the boats from the faster group behind. There you can see Drainstore and Salcombe Racing, but they're not close enough. The race victory goes to Team Earl's Court. Confirmation of that, Drainstore taking second, Salcombe Racing in third. Team Purple were fourth ahead of Delmar, with Quality Racing in sixth position.
We came second yesterday on the water, and then we got put to last position because we missed a buoy out. So the only way to deal with it was to win today, and that's what we decided we were going to do. And hey presto, ta-da!
Just sheer determination out there.
For sure, yeah. If you can get out in the lead and stay there, you got clean water. It's a lot easier than everyone else is jostling behind for positions around the marks. Is the essential point where you can win or lose the race.
So Drainstore had to settle for second position, but they came through from the back to achieve that. So was that all down to driver skill or what?
Jack's the corner classic man, so we had quite a few. We jumped more places on a corner than on a straight, you know. Best race we've ever had. Start at the back and then you've got to work your way through everyone else and all their water and everything. It's brilliant.
So the new format seems to be pretty popular, and Drainstore leading the series from Salcombe Racing. Team Purple holding on to third place ahead of Premier Crew. Further down the order, Spirit of Octane sitting there in joint 8th place. In fact, Team Williams down in 11th place. And once again, the overall weekend win goes to Drainstore.
Well, it's been an action-packed weekend here in Plymouth. Join us for more action next time in Lowestoft, when we'll be racing on the Sunshine Coast.